Welcome back to Yang Daily. I'll be your host, Alex Cheney, bringing you all the Yang news you need to live your life right. Plenty of exciting developments out of New York today. You're going to enjoy it. Let's get straight to it. Quick shout out to our Tier 3 patrons, Peter Park, Shay Meehan, and Nathan Stankowski, as well as all our other patrons. You keep us all informed and engaged. If any of you out there want to join these advocates of humanity first and independent journalism, head on over to patreon.com/YangDaily. It would only take a couple of bucks a month from each listener to keep this podcast and community going and growing into the future. Now on to the news. The White House is currently considering lifting the intellectual property protections on COVID vaccines and treatments, which prevent the drugs being manufactured outside of the companies that developed them. This has been pushed by progressive Democrats, and Pelosi has reportedly joined them in urging the president to adopt it. The pharmaceutical industry is pushing back hard, as you would expect. Intellectual property is vitally important to their profits. Critics say that it would be a boon to China's attacks on IP theft and that it would not increase distribution of the vaccine, though I'm not sure where they're getting that idea from. More manufacturers equals more vaccine, it seems to me, and the clear priority should be saving lives and preventing further mutation of the virus, which means as much vaccination as quickly as possible. But my knowledge is extremely limited in this area, so that's just a layperson's opinion. To aid in reopening of events, New York is implementing the nation's first digital vaccine passport called the Excelsior Pass. It's a phone app where the subject enters their name, date of birth, and zip code, and answers a series of personal questions to confirm their identity, enabling the app to check the state's vaccine registry. If the check returns positive, they receive a QR code that others can scan and get a green check mark, indicating they are vaccinated. It uses blockchain technology and does not disclose any medical information to scanners aside from vaccination status. Next week, it will be accepted at dozens of event, art, and entertainment venues statewide. Cuomo's office has stressed the pass is just one way to validate COVID status and that businesses and facilities are required to accept other kinds of proof, including CDC vaccination cards or printouts of test results. The app will be made available to smaller businesses in the next few days. Cuomo and New York state lawmakers have also formally announced a final deal on legislation to legalize marijuana in New York State. The Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act would legalize the purchase and sale of marijuana, as well as growing the plant in homes for adults age 21 plus. Retail sale would include a state sales tax of 9% and locality sales tax of 4%, with 40% of the revenue going to education, 40% to reinvestment grants for communities harmed by the criminalization of drugs, and 20% to drug treatment and drug education programs. The bill is expected to pass this week. And Mayor Warren of Rochester, New York, already has plans for that weed tax revenue in her city. She is pushing the city to adopt a basic income for poor people of color, funded by marijuana taxes, on the logic that the communities hardest hit by the war on drugs should be the first to benefit from legalization. No further details yet on what that basic income would look like. It's part of the mayor's reparations plan, along with separate funding to help people of color afford home ownership. As with the last couple, I have major reservations about the conditions on this basic income, but happy to at least see more movement toward cash aid that is unconcerned with employment status. Finally, I want to bring your attention to Brianna Urbina, a community organizer, civil rights attorney, and former special education teacher running for city council in New Carrollton, Maryland. Though her website gives next to no detail on what she supports, she has been vocal elsewhere in her support of Humanity First and UBI. She has said that she wants to fight for a UBI pilot on the council, so if you live in New Carrollton, check her out at the links below. And that'll do it for today's Yang Daily. Bookmark and share the vaccine passport article, legal weed bill, Rochester basic income, and Urbina's campaign. Flood Congress with calls, tweets, faxes, and letters using the Resist bot or Income Movement easy contacts below. If you need help, consult Humanity Forward, the Income Movement Aid Database, the Mission Asset Fund, or United Way, and don't forget to Yang Daily.